Welcome to SciTech Culture with Steve Kern and Ben Warner, where we examine science, technology and culture in the 21st century. Visit our website at scitechculture.com. Hello and welcome to SciTech Culture. My name is Ben Warner and I'm joined by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern. How are we today, Steve?
I'm good, Ben. It's a lovely sunny day here. Not much rain though.
Yeah, sunny here too, but apparently not in the Twitterverse, and with, I guess it would appear that we can't seem to get away from it. I mean, we've done quite a few, I guess, Trump episodes in the last couple of weeks, but I thought, can he find a new low? And it seems like this week he's proven that he's the ultimate troll on Twitter. I don't know if there's any other way to describe it. And where are we that he happens to be the president of the United States as well, that he's the troll that he is.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to question him or question anything really, except, does he have a couple of glasses of, scotch or something on the rocks and then starts trolling people? Although this happened at breakfast time, didn't it? Did he wake up grumpy? Hadn't he had a coffee yet? What's the man's motivation?
Yes, well, we'll get to that, I guess, in due course. But just to clarify, if you hadn't heard about it, because it seems to have blown up everywhere, the two Morning Joe cable news hosts, Mika, Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, got into a bit of a thing with Trump this week, where I've actually been watching a bit of their coverage because they put their YouTube clips online. And yes, they are, you can't say it's not an opinionated show. I mean, it does kind of speak to what where my thinking is, but then I can understand that it would be considered a liberal sort of program, even though Joe is supposedly a Republican conservative, but they've been heavily critical, and a lot of it has just been about even recently they've just been saying he's getting in the way of himself, that he is his own worst enemy, that everything that is coming back onto him right now, which I think we've even mentioned, is a result of everything that he does, but he's using Twitter to blame everyone else for this, which
it sounds like a setup though, like they set him up knowing that he'd troll them.
Well, one thing in their they did like a big response to the tweets and all of that afterwards, and they were saying on the show that what really concerned them, they just said, oh well, when someone throws mud at you or whatever, but what they said that what does it say about the standing for the country that the leader is behaving in this way? But what was even worse was how easily he could be played to get this type of response. Yeah. What does that say for someone at that level, having to deal with other nation states, allies, enemies, all that sort of thing?
Well, Trump's shown himself to be accessible. He's given his mobile number out to a whole lot of people. He tweets and interacts with people, even though sometimes it's pretty unsavory. As we say every week, we talk about this. We've never seen this before. I don't think we've actually seen this behaviour from anyone this high profile, let alone a president. In fact, with Trump, the presidency just seems to be incidental to being Trump rather than the other way around. So, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't think anyone knows. I don't think anyone's that surprised anymore.
But what about the lack of response, I guess? And I guess what I'm saying there is that I guess if the Democrats had actual control of the houses there, they'd be straight to figuring out the quickest way to impeachment, but they don't have that for them. And it seems like the Republicans, all they do is they say, oh, well, that's not appropriate, but then they don't back it up with anything. It's like they move on to the next thing and try not to engage with it in any way. Now, it's good that they come out, they all came out, this week and roundly condemned it, but they didn't actually take any action that was going to have any sort of significant impact on him doing this again. And therein lies the problem. I think that I saw that spoken to in across the airwaves and on news channels about what is it going to take for these people that are sitting there that can do something about it. What is it going to take? When for them is he going to be seen to have jumped the shark, which we've mentioned so many times before?
Well, he's jumped the shark, but he's just keeping on jumping. And that's
no, the shark's not big enough. It's multiple sharks that need to be jumped.
He keeps going. Look, I don't know. I mean, once again, I'm probably not up that much with American politics, but the Democrats have seemed particularly weak since the election. But also, I think, as was revealed, they were particularly weak in the run-up to the election. And I don't know. I mean, I don't really see any strength on the Democrat side apart from Bernie Sanders. And I don't really know that he's got that much support. He's got very strong support, but I don't know really if it's big enough to get across the line. And, I think, part of the digital disruption is that the political classes now are in the minority, and the majority, which might be deplorables or anyone else, have a voice. So you can't look to what the past was. You have to look to what the future is going to be. And, if you think about it, really, if you want to wind back whatever situation Trump is causing as president of the US, you really need, I think, a radical rethink of how politicians in general interact with the population. Most of the noise that I hear is at a media level. It's a constant battle between Trump and the media, and the rest of the politicians are sort of standing by and just watching it, but as you point out, not able to actually influence or do anything about it. And I think that's probably the biggest concern.
But is it a question of not being able to influence or not willing to influence because they think that, particularly on that side, that they've got the numbers and that they think they can get something done? But the irony, I think, is that they're not really getting much of anything done.
No, well, I don't think either side is doing much. I don't think there's a very effective, Parliament or Congress over there in the US. Like that, it's not a very effective political situation because both the incumbent and his opposition are completely impotent. Really, I mean, they're in a stalemate, and the only way this can change is not by people going out and protesting against Trump, but it's by people actively starting to engage in the political process. And if they really think that Trump is doing a bad thing, then they really have to join together and not shout him down. We've seen that just won't work. You've just got to uphold the principles of, American democracy. And that I think would, at least over the next couple of years, grind someone down like Trump, because he's a loner, he's a maverick. And you would hope then that would lock out anyone like him in the future.
I guess as a final point then, are we looking at some sort of existential crisis in, I don't know, the American soul, for the lack of a better word, with what's going on right now? Is something, maybe we won't know what this is until it eventually plays out, that whatever this schism is that's being caused here, that is it something that needed to happen? That is this like the sort of like the unintended way? Like no one expected that the shakeup would occur in this particular way. That something did need to happen to shake everything up, even though this is kind of a disastrous way of looking at it. Setting fire to your house, your creaky house, to think it will, so you could
collect the insurance and rebuild.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, look, I wish I could say that it was something like that, but I think the truth is that this is just the end of post-Second World War America. And, we're all going through it globally. Don't think this is just America's problem. This is everyone's problem at every level. I think in Australia you can see problems with the parliamentary system, same in the UK. Throughout Europe, We're seeing all sorts of things that probably, you wouldn't have expected a decade ago. And I think that that's just where it's going. We're going through a huge transition. The old systems just don't work anymore. We're moving, to a place where the economy is going to be different, politics is going to be different, and society is going to be different. And what we're watching is the upheaval. And Trump is more a symptom than a real problem. I think Trump is a sign of what's wrong with all of us. Not just singularly what's wrong with Trump.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up there, and I guess imagine where this might lead us. I think we might be in for some interesting times and an interesting world that sort of develops from this over the next few years. I suspect there'll be some changes afoot, unless of course it just keeps going the way it is, and we all go insane.
That could happen, in which case then it just ends up like Idiocracy.
So it's like a future documentary.
That's right.
All right. So don't forget our website, scitechculture.com. You can get all of our links and content there, and you can subscribe to all of our YouTube, Vimeo, and all of our other channels and content that we've got there, and we'd be greatly appreciative of that. All right. So that's it for this episode. We'll catch you next time.